This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Good morning to our friends in Anchorage at 94.7 KZND, Alaska's Rock Alternative, WAAF Boston jumping on right now, and of course our friends in 97.3 The Machine, Talk That Rocks. A big show for you today. Bad jokes in San Diego, California. Ted versus the FCC. We're talking about unintentional injuries today as we have a man whose friends tied him up at an airport with his testicles inside an empty tuna can, a cigarette between his butt cheeks, 2 pieces of ham on each buttock, but unfortunately they tied him up, and when he began to vomit, he asphyxiated because he could not get out of the position that he was in. Mm-hmm. And when he fell face first, that was the end of that. However, they did find him in the airport, face down, with his testicles in a tuna can, 2 slices of ham on each buttocks, and a cigarette between his butt cheeks. His friends did not mean to kill him. Unfortunately, they did.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about it. Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
A couple of comments here. It says, a goose. This goose was taking off into the air. I pick up this big rock, sure that with its heft and my bad arm, I'd miss the thing by a mile. So I yelled to everyone, hey, look out. I chuck the rock. It hits the goose in the head, killing it. 20 years ago, still feel bad. If you didn't kill the goose, someone else would have. I gave my buddy's girlfriend a ride to the store to get more booze. Now, I specifically warned her that the door mechanism didn't latch properly and to lock the door and put her seatbelt on. Now, needless to say, she didn't either. Booze run, after all. I took a sharp turn, heard the door latch pop, looked over, and she was perfectly seated on nothing. Mm-hmm. About a foot outside of my car. Oops! Had to swerve to make sure I didn't run her over with the rear tires. Good times. Good times. Hello, Mike. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola!
All right, so I didn't kill anybody, but this story definitely killed the mood of the night.
All right,
so setting the stage for you. I was meeting up with this girl for a strict hookup, okay? We both knew what was going to happen, all right?
Strict hookup. I like
Business
I don't
only.
want to talk to you. We are not having dinner.
I don't care about your friends at work, what their relationships are, who talks to who, all the boring television. Let's just have sex.
All right, so I was young, probably about 20 years old, still living with my parents, so obviously don't really have any place to go and do it. So we go to this little league field, all right? Now, the first terrible thing to happen is we tried doing it in the dugout. My knees are all messed up, so I can't really keep parts of my body focused on what they should be doing, right?
Sure.
So we move out to the field, which is wet from the nighttime dew, another great add-on to it. And things are getting hot and heavy. There's some manual stimulation with my hands, of course. And suddenly, I hear a sharp intake of breath. Oh, and my fingernail flipped up and did something. I don't know if there was blood. I don't know, but
how
completely
long?
killed the night.
How long were your fingernails, man?
I don't know. They weren't that long. It was the thing. They weren't super long. They may have been a little bit longer. This was back in my days of doing a lot of pot smoking, and breaking up stuff. So I had long fingernails, but not that long.
These are my day of scooping coke. Yeah, my big fat coke nail.
Nothing so nefarious as that, gentlemen.
Right.
And that's only one nail. That's just the pinky anyway.
To this day, I try to keep my nails basically down to the nubs because you never know when something's going to happen.
Well, are you inspired to keep your nails trimmed because of this one experience?
Always. I can't, if I know I'm going to be with a girl, I gotta trim the nails. I don't know what's going to happen. I got to be safe. That's almost as important as
I like
condom.
that. I've got to be safe. It's not about wearing a condom. It is about keeping my nails trim.
Yeah.
So, ladies, if you see a guy with his fingernails down to the nubs, he's probably thinking about you. All right?
He loves you.
Not some weird-looking guy with short nails. He's thinking about the ladies.
Right.
He's a conscientious person.
That's how you know. Ladies, that's the guy you want.
Mm-hmm.
Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, all right, man.
Thank you, brother.
Damn.
Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
I'm looking at my nails now.
That's not what you want to do.
It's not what you never want to kill them. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't want to kill the mood, right? If you think it's going to happen, whatever it could be. You fart, you stub your toe, whatever it is, man, you just don't want to kill them.
I elbowed a person in the mouth during sex one time. I didn't mean to. I just
What position are you in that you elbowed her in the mouth? Or him?
We were just turning around and, caught John right in the jaw. Really did. I mean, it was like boom. I was like, oh no, I'm sorry, you okay?
It was over, wasn't it?
Oh no, she was okay. She was stronger.
Oh,
than
she
I
fought
was.
through it?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, she was pretty.
Then
tough.
you don't feel bad.
No, but I did feel bad. I mean, I really did catch her pretty.
But she kept having sex with you.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to care.
Yeah, no.
I mean, feel bad afterwards,
but it was a shot. Like, an elbow's hard, man.
Were you impressed? Like, damn, I can't believe
she could have beat my ass. No, I know for a fact she could.
Did she demand that you have sex with? You make it sound like she was like, Miles, pants off now.
She was pretty close to that. Well, I'll tell you. Okay, her thing was she wanted me. All right, she was dating. She wanted me to come over and kind of hang out like Michael Douglas.
All right. Okay.
That was like, and every once in a while, she would hook me up.
You get to have sex?
Right, exactly. But it just started with, like, one day, I think in my own way, I was like, hey, why don't you let me come over, Michael Douglas? And she went, all right. And that's kind of how that started, because I was drunk at a bar, and she took me up on the offer. But I felt kind of bad about it because she was kind of dating a buddy of mine, but I didn't feel too bad about it because her boyfriend was at home, and he was a large man, but I still, like, she was who she was.
You didn't feel bad because he wasn't home?
I didn't feel bad because he wasn't in the same town that I was in. So, like, I didn't have to worry about him driving, like, 5 hours to kill me. And she was dating another guy I knew, and they would go out, like, in public. Like, so, like, if anybody, this guy, if he comes back,
he's going to beat that guy.
He's going to kill that guy who's a friend of mine.
But that's not why you feel bad. You feel bad it's your buddy's girl.
No, but
proximity,
we both knew.
The buddies.
Oh, he can't beat me up, so I don't feel bad.
And he's going to be mad at that guy anyway.
Do you understand how guilt works?
Right, exactly. So
apparently not.
I didn't feel too bad about it, but at the same point in time, whatever. Yeah.
You elbowed another dude's girlfriend in the mouth.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That's brutal.
Yes, I did.
Hello, Corey. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Still good, Corey. How are you, man?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Got strep, but otherwise doing good.
All right. You have strep throat?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going around.
Okay. All right.
Are you at home trying to take care of yourself?
Oh, yeah, well, just taking it easy, chugging lots of water and drinking some coffee and relaxing.
Okay.
All right.
Don't forget to gargle some Jack Daniels later.
You actually make strep throat sound quite nice.
All right, so I was in the Army for 7 years, but when I was back in basic training in 2008, well, let me give you a backstory. So I started martial arts at about 6 or 7. Started with Taekwondo, karate, and then progressed into MMA. My mom decided that MMA was the cheapest way to go, so I decided to stick with that.
Hey, man, are you moving your phone? You
like
keep
back and
you're
forth.
You're going like in and out.
In and out.
It's like Tarzan on speakerphone.
Like
and he swings one way, you're closer, then he swings away.
And out, and back, and through, then in. You there, Corey?
Oh.
All right.
Well, this phone sucks.
Okay.
Well, anyway. You got me now?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Well, anyway, basic training 2008. I'm 17 years old, and we get to a portion of combatives. Combatives level 1. Drill sergeant told us not to do any joint locks or anything like that. But for me, it's just muscle memory. And I ended up sparring with one of my friends, and ended up dislocating his knee by doing a knee lock, and his knee was at a 45-degree angle, and I was like, oh, what the F just happened? And I freaked out. He ended up getting medically retired.
Oh, 17 years
wow.
old. Medically retired. Here comes the check. Cha-ching.
Damn, man.
Wow. Okay.
I like it was like, well, for me, it's muscle memory. I'm like, my muscle memory from a fight would mean my nose would just start bleeding before you hit
muscle
me.
memory, because if it was
my
muscle
tooth
memory,
would just fall out of my mouth before you punch me.
There wouldn't be anybody left in the dojo if that was muscle memory. Because if you taught it, then you'd break it. If you did it, then you'd break it. If you did it naturally, then you'd break it. So that you wouldn't even have a sparring partner if it came natural to you.
Right, it's not that uncommon. Like a lot of places, right? It's like if you're going to roll at the end of something, like don't do that stuff.
Right, exactly.
Right, it's just
like, don't snap it off.
But, look, man, and I won't go through the whole story, but long story short, this idiot dude I knew, I hate to say a friend of mine, probably a friend of mine, but anyway, he ended up just pissing this dude off at a bar for no good reason. But the guy that he was pissing off kept trying to, like, hey, man, I'm sorry if I offended you, but, seriously, leave me alone. Chuck would not leave him alone. Finally, Chuck does one of those, well, what are you going to do about it kind of moves? And so the guy did something about it. Punched him once in the stomach. And as my buddy always says, he got punched so hard in the stomach, we swear that his toes and his forehead met on the other side of this guy's elbow. I mean, just, bam, drops the guy. And Chuck's just laying on the ground, like leg shaking kind of thing. And the guy that punched him was an amateur boxer. And the thing is, when he hit him, he looked like a guy who throws a punch like an amateur boxer. Like, we didn't know the guy was an amateur boxer. But when he hit Chuck, we're like, man, I've seen a lot of fights, but
just when you're tight, compact, body shot, just
it was so fast, so precise. Like, look, we've all been in fights, and people have thrown haymakers. Like, nobody actually fights well. You just either beat someone or you don't, right? This guy's shot landed exactly where he wanted it. It did exactly what he thought. And we're like, what the hell, man? So the amateur boxer's buddy explained, hey, he's an amateur boxer. And we're like, that explains everything. Chuck had no chance. You really should have listened.
Whenever I see people landing lefts and rights, and I'm like, oh, man, if they can land a left and a right, you do not want to mess with that person. Like, I think my whole thing would be like, all right, look out for this one right that I'd hope hits you. I got nothing else other than a kick to the nuts. You know what I mean? Like, I got two things I can do. Kick you in the boys, or hopefully connect with this, because I'm not going to hit you with
That's what most people do.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Well, you just can't help it, right?
But when you see somebody get on top of someone and just start pounding them.
Most people, when you get in a fight, right, it's just going to be.
That's what I mean. That's what you can tell people that know, like, man, that was just a different kind of punch.
I should not have talked to that guy that way.
I still just like in that story that the guy wasn't even.
The
had
guy
nothing to do with them.
Didn't. The guy. It's one of those things that when you're trying to remember something, sometimes you stare somewhere, and I think maybe he looked in Chuck's direction, but Chuck was the guy that would instigate things anyway. So Chuck decided to be big bad, and it's went on for like 5 minutes before the guy's finally like, "All right, man." And I mean, one punch, it was over. And as my friend Hollywood described it, said, "When you went to the ground, you made a sound like buckle." And it said you look like a transformer turning back into a car. His body just like shut down piece by piece before he crumpled on the floor.
Bad jokes coming up. The return of Ted versus the FCC and more of your calls on our question, who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Get those bad jokes ready to go. Bad jokes on the way, as well as the return of Ted versus the FCC. Today we're talking about when you unintentionally injured someone. Hard to tell if this was an intentional. You know what? This is not an intentional injury. The hell with that. A woman who visited a Hamburger Mary's in Tampa is suing the establishment for $1.5 million.
Hamburger Mary's?
Hamburger Mary's in lovely Tampa, Florida. She was injured by a drag queen's breast. According to the complaint, Nelda Molina said she was with other guests and family members at the restaurant for dinner in May 2015 to celebrate a friend's birthday. The suit says that Molina was unaware of the drag queen show until music began playing and she heard someone at another table mention the show. Molina, sitting with her back to the table, watched the show before turning back around and continuing to eat and socializing with her friends. When she turned around again, a performer named Amanda DeHaad pointed at her and began to walk toward her table. In the complaint, Molina said
What was her name again, Miles?
Amanda DeHaad.
DeHaad?
DeHaad. I mean, how else would you say that? DeHaad?
I don't know. I thought
I
maybe
don't
it was
either.
like DeHaat or something. It's a drag queen.
Amanda DeHaad.
Amanda Hot, right?
Amanda Hot. Molina said she turned back around, not wishing to draw attention to herself, but then the complaint alleges Amanda touched Molina's shoulder and then walked in front of her, grabbed her head. The complaint said the performer then wiggled her breast against the plaintiff's face and head 8 times. We know that as a brumsky. The performer allegedly grabbed Molina's face and pushed it and shook it several times in between her breasts before pounding it against her chest violently, according to the suit.
I have that problem all the time.
Yeah, just women walking up to me and sticking
Put your
my
hand between my breasts, boy.
Here, enjoy. Complaint said Molina began to experience a headache and neck pain and told the manager what happened. Then she went to the emergency room in Tampa for cervical pain and uncontrollable headaches, and now she is seeking...
Cervical pain?
Cervical pain, yeah.
Cervical?
Cervical pain's what it says.
What, did she grab her head and her vagina?
I'm not sure. It says cervical pain.
Okay.
Molina is seeking $1.5 million for medical costs and expenses for the past, present, and future, as well as for pain she suffered physically and mentally from the incident. The complaint also states that the restaurant failed to advise anyone of a possible danger at Hamburger Mary's, which I'm now looking up to find out what's going on.
Danger? Like anything. Like, look, man, if I go to a restaurant, right, you go to a steak dinner, and I poke myself in the gum with a fork, it's like it's not the restaurant's job to warn me that forks potentially could be dangerous.
No.
No,
It's
but
a
if the waiter came over and aggressively gave you a high five.
I mean, maybe.
Wait a minute.
It's a drag queen, give her Brumsky. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could warn that Brumskys might happen, but not like, hey, you're in danger because this drag queen's boobs might cause you cervical pain.
All right, look, guys, Hamburger Mary's.
All right.
Is a gay-themed and lesbian-friendly burger restaurant chain that started in San Francisco in 1972. Their motto is an open-air bar and grill for open-minded people, along with eat, drink, and be merry. The eateries are often in gay neighborhoods, and the menu items include humorously named items, and the decor of the restaurant is flamboyant, with many of the locations hosting drag shows every single weekend. So I'm going to assume that if you go to Hamburger Mary's,
Come on. I mean, right.
you know there's going to be a drag show.
I'll order one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
fur
turned
burger
around and all of a sudden there was a drag show going on. Like, that'd be like saying you went to Hooters and you couldn't believe that a woman, with big breasts and short
Right.
orange shorts served you chicken wings. I'm sorry. Like, not that I understand what you're saying.
I agree with you, man.
The idea
Like,
of
come
turning
on.
around that all of a sudden I've been accosted at a drag show. Like, no, you knew where you were going. Not that that's part of the deal, but you get what I'm saying. Like, come on now. You can't act like I just turned around because I didn't know what was going on. Like, you're in this place that does a drag show every weekend, and that's what they're known for.
Right, that's what they're known for.
God almighty.
Right.
I know that you didn't mean to be injured there, but
What are some of their item names? Like, could you get, like, whisker biscuits and gravy? I mean, like, what are the...
you mean as far as the menu goes?
Yeah, because they said if it's humorously titled. I'm trying to think what you can do with food.
All right. Eat, drink, and be merry.
What are you thinking, Ted?
Near you.
The first one I saw was they had the Mary Burger. That seems pretty normal.
All right.
And then the Black and Blue Boy.
Black and Blue Boy.
Oh.
Get out of here.
Man, oh, man.
Get out of here. Larry's Lasagna.
I don't know if these names are that crazy.
No, it's all right. I just can't. I can't find the menu. I'll check it out.
I think they call the pig in a blanket
There's
the
a lot
uncircumcised.
For the record, Hamburgers Mary's has a very active website.
Yes, they do. There's a lot going on here.
Thinking about opening one up, man.
Where's the closest
Franchises
location
them
to
out.
us? All right. Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
Quick comment here. It says, I threw a trash can over the balcony because it had maggots in it. Well, it turns out my sister was standing right underneath. It smacked her in the face. She had to get stitches right down the middle of her face and still to this day has a scar. I feel so bad. I do every time I look at her face.
Oh, every time you look at her face.
I feel so bad.
Every time I look at her face.
Your face is so effed up. Mm-hmm. Hello, Brad. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, my God,
Jeez,
Brad.
man.
Jesus.
Bedroom colors, here are the 7 words
What the
you
hell
can't
happened
say
there?
on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
By the way, I learned something real quick. Mm-hmm. Cervical pain, not your cervix.
Okay.
It's part of your neck.
All right.
Everyone
all right.
has a... No, they said, look, man, because people get this confused, I guess. Actually, I'm just saying that so I don't sound as stupid. But they said, look, your cervical pain and cervix pain are two different things. So the cervical thing
So it's my cervix
is
that's
your
hurting.
neck.
It's my cervix that's
Is
hurting.
your neck. Yeah, her cervix. So it makes sense then, yeah, that her...
How did Brad just open his mouth and the
don't know.
first thing he said was a cuss word?
All right, Brad, let's try this
Brad.
again. Just no brown words. man.
Golly, man. I mean, what's happened there? Tell me someone punched you in the face and that was your natural reaction.
Nope, trying to get the phone off speakerphone there, and actually, in my defense, I think it was my second word.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Much better.
All right, all
We
right.
painted you
We're gonna
poorly.
let this
Yeah.
one slip then.
All right, so Father's Day camping trip in Idaho there, and my wife and my son there. I think he was about 4 years old, and gosh, we were just trying to take a goofy picture there. I think he had a metal pot on his head, and I had one on my head. And are you guys familiar with what an E-tool is?
An E-tool? No.
Okay, it's a military shovel, essentially. It's collapsible.
Okay. All right.
Like the little one you always see, like in the movies.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right, exactly. So,
So I always called it the little collapsible shovel.
Yeah.
yeah, that's generally the term.
The thing you put out the fire pit with.
Right, yeah. So these things, the blades are a little sharper than a normal shovel would be. In fact, I think my drill sergeant said he had several confirmed kills in Vietnam with the dang thing.
Jesus Christ.
Right. So
Sleep
anyhow,
tight.
Sorry?
Sleep tight.
Yeah. So I've got the shovel, the E-tool in my right hand, and my son's on my left, and we both have buckets on our head, like I said. My wife's about to take a picture, and, well, his bucket starts falling off of his head, and I don't want it to, hurt him or what have you, so by a quick reaction, with my right hand with the E-tool in it, swings over to, keep the bucket from falling off his head, and I smacked him right above the eyebrow with the side of the shovel. I mean, just laid his forehead open.
And I guess that was the end of the camping trip.
No, it wasn't. We found some, well, not found some. I had a medical kit with me, what have you. No stitches, but I had suture strips, which are supposed to be essentially the same thing. So,
did he want to go home? I mean, I understand you're like, all right, I'm going to patch your head up, son, but I got to think, if I'm the kid, like, Dad, can we just go home?
Oh, he was about 4. He did pretty well with it. Gave him a sucker, maybe 4 or 5 minutes of crying, and he was done. We were moving on. I mean, he's got a little scar on his eyebrow still, but
the power terrible. Of the sucker.
Is he a tough guy now? Is he growing up?
Oh, he's 8 years old. He's doing pretty good.
He's an 8-year-old tough guy, though.
Well, hit him with a shovel again. See how he reacts. See if he's.
Well, the kind of the joke now is, because he was 3 or 4 years old, he didn't get me a Father's Day gift, and so now it's, did you get me a Father's Day gift? Do I need to get the E-tool out?
Yeah. I bet you'll get one now.
Mm-hmm. You'd be lucky if he remembers your birthday.
I know. Damn. That's the worst, is messing up your kid. The worst I've done with my kids, man, it was my daughter specifically, and I'm with my cousin, and we're on vacation, and I have one of those collapsible strollers, but it has like a little shoulder thing you put over it. So I just throw this thing over my shoulder. He and I are going to the store. We're going to buy beer before we go back to the hotel room. My daughter's with us. No big deal. But the way the stroller collapses, it folds up like an umbrella, basically, but there's maybe a 1.5 feet in front of me and another 1.5 feet behind me. And I don't realize she's standing behind me, but she says my name or something. But I turned to see her and ended up smashing her in the face with the back of the stroller, right? So my cousin's like, hey, man, stop. She's right behind you. So now I turn around to see where she is, and I crush her from the other side, right? But I still don't see her yet. And he's like, dude, stop. So I think I'm out of the way and do like a complete 360 and hit her 2 more times, man.
Jesus.
So, but this is all in like 5 seconds. It's just. And now she's just laying down on the floor crying, man. And it looks like I just beat the piss out of her at the stroller.
Did.
So the thing is, though, I have to like convince the cashier that it was not on purpose. Like, it looked so comical and looked so contrived, but it really was not, man. And this cashier is staring me down, and I'm like, dude, I didn't realize where she. And every time I turned around to see her, she just wasn't in my line of sight. But every time I turned around, the stroller swung out and kept crushing her in the face, man. And so that's why my daughter is now laying down on the floor, crying in your store. I'm sorry, and it's a horrible, horrible feeling. Just because you look down like, hey, baby, you all right? And it's just this quick look they give you. It's just such disappointment. Like, I thought you were my dad. You were here to protect me. You just beat the piss out of me with the stroller. I felt really bad, but I did laugh a lot.
Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Eddie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, my bitches. How you doing?
Hola. What's happening, Eddie?
Oh, man. You guys are familiar with the driving range at the golf course, right?
Sure.
Warming up? Yeah, my son and I are out there. He's about 5 at the time. I'm taking a full swing with the 5-iron, and out of the corner of my eye, I can see him walking out to pick up a ball, and he just chunked a little bit. I tried to stop my swing.
Sure,
I sliced the ball right into his back, dude.
Oh. Did knock the wind out of him?
He dropped to his knees, sucking in air, and goes, I'm going to die. I felt so bad, man. I mean, there are people around just looking at me like, why did you not finish your swing? Why did you slice the ball into your kid? It was so comical.
Because that's what I wanted to do, was slice the ball directly into my own child.
Man, I've never seen anybody get hit with a ball, but after the fact, sitting in the bar at the golf course, guy came in with the foursome that he was with. They all stopped playing. He got hit above the eye with a golf ball. I don't know if somebody in his group hit into him or somebody else hit into him. Either way, like his entire eyebrow was open. You couldn't. He was an older gentleman, so he kind of had like the
big bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like where you're not like I didn't know if it was just like looked that mangled and that hairy and that it was just.
So you couldn't tell if it was a bad injury or if it's just his crazy eyebrows.
He did have the crazy
worse.
eyebrow. You know what I mean? Like who was the guy on 60 Minutes?
Rooney.
Rooney. Yeah, he kind of had that look. Garrison Keillor kind of eyebrow. Donald Trump like crazy eyebrow, but it was completely opened up, and I mean you could see in. And it kind of looked like a vagina above his eye, how much it had opened up, but it was also swelling his eye.
Man, your face is making me horny.
So he kind of had like this going on and like this huge hole, right? But his eye was also swelling up, and then like the side of his head was swelling up. It was almost like someone took a baseball bat and hit him on the side.
Why was he at the bar? I mean, if I'm watching your head
the bar,
bigger,
the bar is basically the clubhouse
because it's golf.
Yeah, that's where you come back to. That's where your car is. That's where the parking lot is. All things lead back to that clubhouse. So they put a big bag of ice on his head. And they got his ass out of there, man. And then I guess it was somebody else that hit him because somebody came back in later on. It was just like, here's my number, here's this, where do they go, all that stuff.
I mean, you hope that's just a bad slice and not being like, they're taking too long, let's hit.
Oh, yeah, whatever the deal was. Nobody intentionally tries to hit anybody, man. But it's
sure?
Some people do, man. I've been golfing before where, like people can hit up on your group.
Yeah.
It's like the second time it happened, we just put the tees and the balls in the ground and fired back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gangster.
Right? Like, get off our butts. Right? It's golf. We're supposed to be relaxing.
That's funny.
Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, John. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Yeah, I was trying to teach my daughter how to defend herself, and her little sister was standing behind her. I couldn't get my oldest daughter to do anything, and so the younger one says, "I know what to do," and she comes running around and kicks me square in the nuts.
So she's been taught well.
The ultimate defense.
She learned it somewhere. I don't know where.
Okay.
I didn't get around to teaching her, but she already knew what to do.
Did you even bother to continue with the lesson? Did you say, just do what she did?
No, the lesson was over, but I couldn't get mad at her, so I said, "Good job."
Yeah, I bet you did. Have you been hitting the junk by your kids since?
A few times. Right. Usually when pick them up and they do the leg kick thing.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
No, I always wondered why anybody would buy a 1.5-year-old child a pair of hard leather black shoes.
It's easy because you don't have a penis.
Yeah, I mean, like
no dude would buy those because we understand in the process of picking them up, they're going to try to Bruce Lee your junk anyway. Mm-hmm. It's just, and you put those, and I've been kicked there, I think twice by two different kids. The only time I've been hitting the junk by my kids, it was my son. We were messing around on the bed, and his forehead basically headbutted me right in the junk, and it was crazy because we're already on my bed, right? So, like, playtime was over, and I laid back on the bed, just like, and you know the process, man. You're kind of grabbing your gut, and then your knees start drawing up towards your chin, and then I had to turn sideways. And the whole time, he's like, "Daddy, are you all right?" I think he was like 2 or 2.5, and I'm like, "I'm not mad at you, but you got to stop talking to me, man. Like, this is a process the guys go through. I can't explain it, but as this is going, it's getting worse." So now I had to get off of the bed. And I don't know why this makes it better, but I had to get off of the bed and then lay on the floor. But now I'm completely in the fetal position. Like I said, I lay down first, then fetal position on the bed, and then I'm like, I need to be on the floor. Like, I need the hardest. I don't know why. And my son the whole time is watching this. So after the 10 minutes of the agony finally goes away and I can communicate with him again, he still looks a little concerned. He's still like, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Man, listen, you're going to discover this on your own a little bit later in life." And that's exactly what my father told me once. And it has come to pass because he plays soccer now. And it's one of those things where he's kicking the ball around with his friend. I see this thing make perfect contact with his jewels, right? And he stands there for 1 second. Like there's a look of concern, but we know how it goes. You get a full one Mississippi before the pain fully comes on. So he gets hit. And I felt bad because I'm like, it doesn't hurt yet, but it's about to. And then you just see his face kind of crumple. Then he's on his knees and he's holding the finger up like, "Give me a minute." And it's like, "Bud, just take all the time you need, man. You can't beat
nothing
this.
You can do.
You have to ride this wave." And that's what sucks about it. It's not like ice works. There's no Advil. It's like you must ride the pain wave until the pain wave is over. That's the worst thing about getting hit in the Johnson.
Yep. And if you hit your buddy, you feel worse. Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
Depends on the buddy, though. Some guys like doing that.
Yeah, you played sack tap on that dude.
I didn't play. That was his game.
Yeah,
I
but
was
you
walking
had
down
to
the
get a
street,
ball.
minding my own business, and all the next thing you know, like I'm in a fetal position on the street in New Orleans, like curled up, like, oh, my God.
Like, out of nowhere, this dude turns around and just, bam, just hits him right. And so I told Billy, he's a lot of fun, but I told him, I said, man, if you punch me in the ball, I'm going to kill you. So I was never involved in this game, but you guys the whole weekend. Miles is just walking, and this dude would walk up.
It's not a fun game. It's not a fun game to always.
Why did you keep? If you did hit him back, it would have been one and done.
Because I hadn't got him back yet.
Right.
The game's on. I mean, once the game's on, the game's on. It's like Punch Bug, man.
But then it doesn't end, and that's so all weekend. You're like, man, my junk hurts. I'm like, because you've been punched in it 4 times. Because you guys won't stop punching each other there.
Well,
you got it. You have to just make it stop.
I would wait for him to come out like around the corner or something, and just like thump, and he'd go down. I'm like, yes.
But then you know what's coming.
Yeah. But then I'd run down and get to the street. Well, whatever. Who did you
all weekend? All week. You could be sitting at the restaurant. I just reach under the table. Bam! It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
That was intentional. Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Bad jokes coming up. You can email the bad jokes to us here at the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. We'll do the bad jokes right before we drink and toast with a shot of the day. Our question, who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Shane. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, so I was working at a truss building company,
All right.
and we build roof trusses for houses, right? And I was running the saw, and it's a $700,000 wood processing system, and it has you put the lumber up on these chains, and it feeds it down into the saw, and it flips it up in there, and there's all these hydraulic clamps and stuff in there. And I was training this guy, and this board got stuck in there. And I'm like, hey, man, can you get that out? And I thought he'd just grab the board and pick it up and pull it out. But he stuck his whole arm into the saw. You guys there?
Yeah, we're
No, I'm gone.
Okay.
I checked out when you first started talking.
Yeah. So he stuck his whole arm into the saw, and I hit a clear error button on accident, and this hydraulic clamp came down onto his arm, and he was like, "Wah!" And I'm like, and I saw him around the corner because it was around the corner of the socks. It's a big old machine. And then he said, "It's stuck." And I'm like, "Yeah, the board's stuck. Pull it out." And he's like, "No, it's stuck." And I'm like, "What's stuck?" And he's like, "It's starting to cut." And I'm like, oh, damn. And I'm like, unclamp. And I unclamped it, and he pulls his arm out, and he's like, ah. And he has this big, huge, giant dent in his arm because, like, luckily he was a bigger cat. he was a little overweight, but it left a good, huge dent in his arm. It was crazy.
I bet it was. Did he
poop a little in his pants?
What was that?
Did he poop a little in his pants? Because you'd have found me out of it.
It kind of seemed like he might have pushed a little kernel out there.
Yeah, I bet he did. Just the kernel.
Who
it's
did
like shedding a single tear.
A little more.
Right.
I didn't completely poop myself. It's just a kernel, man. Just a kernel.
Who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Derek. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, so I was 16 years old, fresh license, and I had some skater friends, and they wanted to grab onto my car and go down the road. So I had three. I had one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side, and one on the driver's side back door. And I'm going, and they say, go faster. So I go a little faster, right? And the guy on my driver's side window falls. He starts getting wobbly, and he falls, and he busts it. The guy right behind him, obviously, wham, hits his head. And I hear him just, and I slammed on my brakes and freaked out, and I forgot about the guy on the passenger side. And he goes flying off of his skateboard, and he broke his collarbone. But the guy who fell and hit his head, oh, dude, he had a cracked skull and brain swelling. He almost died. I was in school the next day, and I was wondering where he was at, and everyone's like, you didn't hear what happened? said, no, I fled the scene because they told me the cops were coming.
Jesus Christ. I love that. Almost killed your friend and just leave.
I'm out.
That's funny.
You're on your own.
Hey.
Whew.
Yeah, the whole thing swelled up.
He almost died, man. I left because my friend almost died. See, I almost killed him, so I left.
That's what I did. He doesn't call me anymore. It's weird because he can't talk. Because he can't put words together.
Tell me that's not funny.
He still has fluid on his brain from when I slammed on the brakes and he went flying.
Ooh, that's rich.
Good thing is he doesn't have to work or nothing. Just sits at home and drools.
Just makes money.
Government sends him a check every week. Saved a guy's life. He didn't like working anyway.
And he never said thank you. Wow, man.
Oh, man.
So he took out, what, 3 people?
Just the unapologeticness of the whole thing. It's like, yeah, I left.
Well, it's one thing to be unapologetic.
Oh, my God.
It's another thing to laugh. You know, it's like when you played that clip from OJ yesterday. Right? And the only difference, we know he killed those people. The difference was like, well, you know, people, they're going to think that, you know, I killed someone. Okay, well, see, now it's not okay, man.
Right.
The laughter makes it worse.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Okay. Hang on. We've got those bad jokes coming up. Email the bad jokes to the men's room at mensroomlive.com. And the return of Ted versus the FCC is on the way. Our question, who did you unintentionally injure? 844-999-OLA.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.